Hello everyone, it's me, Fagenstar, and welcome to the final part of my low-poly PS1 style Pumpkaboo Gijinka tutorial. Now, in this part, we will be posing and we'll be posing our character and doing a simple turntable animation and rendering them out in a PS1 style. Okay, so to start out, let's go ahead and put this into render preview. Change this to timeline. Then we'll go ahead and pull out like that. Make our rig visible so we can pose our character. Now, I'm going to be, the pose that I'm going to do is kind of, I'm gonna pose the character using the move Flamethrower, since I find the fact that Pumpkaboo is able to use the move Flamethrower to be funny and appropriate, being a jack-o'-lantern. Well, based on a jack-o'-lantern, like some kind of bat jack-o'-lantern thing. Okay. It would be kind of fun if her pose was sort of like jumping up into the air, like she was evading an opponent's attack and then retaliating with a nice flamethrower. Okay, now that I have the character pose, let's go ahead and save this as Pumpkaboo Flame Thrower. Since I like to save out any special poses or animations separately from the regular rigged file, just to make it easier for when I want to make more poses and animations and such, so that I don't have to undo any previous work. I can just have these all be separate. Okay, now to create the flamethrower, let's add a UV sphere. Change the segments to 6 and the rings to 6. Tab into edit mode. Bring this in front of the hand and then rotate it about like that so that the poles are facing towards the hand, away from the hand. Go into vertex selection mode, turn on proportional editing. Grab this. Let's try that. Flip this around so that's moving the right direction. This end and scale it up. Alright, that looks good. So let's go ahead and shade smooth on that. Then grab this, go to material properties, add a material. We'll call this flames. Then we can go back into our shader editor, grab this, select use nodes, go into here, and then we can add a gradient texture and a color ramp. Let's see, here it is, color ramp. Color. That. You can already see cooking here. So let's go ahead and change this black to more of like a dark red color. This white to a bright orangish kind of color. Also make sure to plug color into emission, so then that way it should glow. Turn emission strength up to 5. And let's turn roughness up and specular down, and that looks much better. Alright, now let's go ahead and change this back to timeline. And now that we've gotten our pose and our effect done, go ahead and save this, and then add a circle, scale this up, make sure that it consumes the entire figure. Then grab our camera, hit N to pull out this tab, go to Item, change the zero out the location and the rotation. Then grab the camera, drag it all the way out to the edge of the sphere, like that. Then, with the camera still selected, go to Object Constraint Properties. First, let's go ahead and add a plane axis, like go to empty and then select plane axis, pull that up, then grab our camera, add a track to, and then put the empty as the target, and then pull our camera up. And so that way, when our camera, we'll use the circle to be the path that the camera travels along. And then while the camera is doing that, we'll track to this empty so that the camera will be focused on the center of the model. Because otherwise, if you select the model itself, it usually puts it at this point down at the bottom, and we don't want that. Alright. Now grab your camera and then the circle and hit Control P and follow path. Now grab the circle, click on Object Data Properties, go under Path Animation, and let's set the frames to 250, which is what we have set to here. Now, if you only want to have 100 frames or whatever for your animation, make sure to set this endpoint to whatever you have set here. Personally, I like to have this set to 250 because that's about 10 seconds, and that's a pretty good amount of time for a turntable, I think. So now we grab our camera, hit 0 on our numpad, and that'll give us a bit of a preview of our animation. Now go to Render Properties, hit Bloom to make our thing glow. Go to Film and set that to Transparent. Now, unless you have a background set in Blender that you want to use, just go ahead and hit Transparent so that it'll render out transparently, and go under Color Management, view, and set View Transform to Standard. Now we will set our resolution. Personally, I like to set to a nice large resolution like that. Okay. Need to set camera back a little bit further, since let's grab the camera so that way we'll capture the entire thing. Okay, scale that in a little bit until we scratch just the edge of it. There we go. Okay, now set the folder where you want to save out the render to. Check that. Now, for rendering out transparency like this, I would recommend PNG, and then set it to RGBA, which is RGB alpha, and when alpha means transparency. Alright, so with that set up, let's go ahead and grab our object. And for the PS1 effects, let's go ahead and add a modifier, displace, hit new, go to click on that, and change that to clouds. Now go back there, set the strength to 0.25. Now we click on our character, add a displace modifier, select texture, and set the strength to 0.25, and then make sure to set coordinates to object. Select the camera, select direction to RBG to XYZ, and make sure to do the same for the flamethrower object. There we go. Now we have a nice PS1 jitter on our character. Now, if you want to take this maybe just a step further, one thing you can do is you can add dithering to the textures, because that was a common technique that they used in PS1 games, was that they would add dithering to the textures to add, since they had limits on how many colors they could use. So this is a great site for that. It's called Dither Me This. So you can just, for example, just grab our little texture here. And then personally, I like this 6-bit RGB, because I feel like that has a very sort of PS1 look to it. But, you know, And then also you can use this to save out your images at a more PS1 resolution, but you know, it's up to you. So, next thing to do for our PS1 style render is go to compositing, hit use nodes, drag these apart to make room, hit add, distort, and scale, and shift D to duplicate that. Put the first one as 0.25 and the second one as 4.096. And then go back to add, filter, pixelate, and put that in between the two. Now, save that once again, and let's get a little preview. And there you go. Now, all you have to do to render the whole thing out is just hit render animation, and it'll render out everything. So that does it for this tutorial.